Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, our dear viewers. We are very much glad to have you today. I'm personally excited. We are starting, it's a new show, new chapter. We are looking at the business aspect of life. And I'm called Ashavaja, I'm the host. The show is Business Coach. We have gentlemen in studios that are going to be enlightening us in as far as the aspect of business in this time period is concerned. And you will notice that for those of us that are on WhatsApp, most of us are posting online trading things. People have clothes, they have shoes, most especially young people, youths, those that are at campus and those that have finished but who are laid off during the COVID period. Because of the pandemic, we all know that lockdown was announced and it was executed on the 20th of March this year. So because of that, people, they are out of work. Most of us are out of work. People we know, people we are related to, parents, siblings, and friends. And then we have had to cope because the spending continues and the need to save continues. So you have to find a way of making it in life. And it's because of that that Muslim Channel Uganda has looked for avenues to give back to the public, to see how we can have something in place that trains us to go through our daily lives in the saving, investing, spending lines, how to go about such. We have to look at those details in specificity to help each other run through this life where it's a neighborly sort of thing. And in studios today we have Sad Matovu. He's a tech developer. He likes to call himself an entrepreneur. Sad, welcome on board. Please say hello to the viewers.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, like already introduced, I'm Sad Tovic. I'm a tech developer, but I'm generally also known as a business coach sometimes. And today I'm going to throw my insights into the general impact of this pandemic when it comes to exactly how we're going to cope in the business aspects of this entire crisis. How are we going to get out of it? How are we going to try to survive? How are we going to discover new ways on how to adapt to this kind of crisis that has hit us very unprecedentedly?
Thank you, Sad. We are very much glad to have you on board. And we have a culture-based agent, like he prefers to refer to himself that way too, Amoti, Jaga Moti. He's in studios with us today. Please say hello to the viewers.
Thank you very much for the intro. Evidently, most people in Africa and most people around the world have had to deal with the global pandemic, which in turn has created a new normal. And just like in any environment, as we rise through the pandemic rubble, we need to look at intervention from an African setting. And I think today I'm honored to be part of a team that finds it necessary to draw from the vast African resources as tools of intervention.
Thank you. Now, the two gentlemen in studios are bringing to us what we normally look at as diversity. Sad is more of very business specific. How do we use IT and business-related ideas to pull ourselves out of the effects of COVID? And then we have Amoti here, who says that we can look at the diversity of Africa as a continent and the world in general. What do we have as our strengths? How can we dwell on those to to improve our lives in what we are calling the new normal. You have heard that word several times before. Because of COVID, very many things had to change. How we dress, how we interact, the social gatherings, how we conduct burials, stuff like that. And so the word, the new normal, came up. And he's going to take us through how we can use our strengths, how we can use the things that we have always had, how we can use the natural resources, the humans, the peace, the communal outlook that Africa has always put out there, how we can use those to develop ourselves, to get ourselves out of the ditch that we have put in by COVID. Now we are getting right on with the show, but we are going for a very, very short break, and we shall be back. Thank you. Thank you for being with us this morning. It's a Monday morning, and the show is Business Coach, the host, Shaba Ajara, and in studios today we have Sad Matovu, a tech developer, and we have a culture-based agent, Amod Jagamot. Now I want us to start with you, Sad. If you were someone that lost a job at the beginning or in the midst of the COVID crisis, and you're trying to get yourself out of it, and you come across a concept like business development, and you need to start from scratch with resources that are so little, how do you go about that?
Okay, thank you so much for that, Azra. I think for the start, I will once again thank you so much for hosting me here. And she asked me a very pertinent question, because I believe this is exactly what we are facing at the moment. She asked me a very specific question, which says, if I have very little resources, like what exactly would I do? How would I tackle this? Let me get this right from the root. If you are organically a Ugandan, or an African, we can say, because Uganda is part of Africa, then you need to first understand, do you work? Do you have an income? Or you don't have an income? You need to first establish this, because you can't get yourself out of anything when you have no income coming in. You have no money coming in. So you need to first understand, how much do I have? People need to also bridge the gap between ignorance and actually seeking out for knowledge. These are two different things. We have like education. It's happening in our country, Uganda in particular. People are going to school. People go to school and people study. They upgrade from primary school to high school, from high school to A-level, or from A-level then you're going to institutional level, and then you're going to graduate. But we have seen several graduates and there's nothing to show. We go into the job world and they give you an interview, just like we're here, you're interviewed and you're clueless. Yes? Why? Because the system is broken. All right? And how do we bridge that? We also know these people who subscribe to the fact that we have seen so many African business people who have actually made it when they didn't go to school.
Yeah, that's true.
All right? That's also there. But luck can only take you far. You can never be lucky all the way. And when we go back to these people who we say that are already there, they are successful and all that, when you go back to them, they weren't actually really doing so bad. Because a family person cannot come from just himself and say, you know what, I'm the only person in my lineage. No, there are people within your family who have helped you go there. You have connections and all these things. So we don't have to focus on that right now. We have to focus on the person right now. The girl child, the boy child right now who's in school,
Yeah.
where are they? How are they doing? Because everyone is now locked down, there is no school. And the Ghanaian government is trying to see how people go back to school. Before they go back to school, so many people have adapted to this crisis. Young people have started understanding that, you know what, sometimes you're not going to stick to the old way of doing things. Things are going to have to change. You grew up when they didn't teach you what technology is. Like right from the introduction, like you said, Ajara, I'm too much of a tech advisor, a tech consultant. And I love telling the young people that, you know what, passion can only take you somewhere, but only they don't tell you that you need to work really hard to get to your goal. We have worked really hard to get to the goals that we want. Some of them we meet them, some of them we haven't met them. But what I want to tell the boy child, the girl child, even the ladies and the gentlemen out there, we need to understand that when this strikes in, what is the best way to adapt? And I'll tell you, embracing technology, new streams of generating income have to be adapted. Because at the end of the day, if you do not adapt as quick as you can, you have heard of the story of Blockbuster. We had Blockbuster some time back when we were still watching DVDs and old discs and see the caskets and all these things. And where's my disc? Where is, you lost my disc, I'll kill you. You lost my disc, I won't watch my movie. These days we don't look for CDs. We don't look for DVDs. We don't look for cassette tapes anymore. If you do not embrace change, change is going to kick you out. We don't have Blockbuster anytime. Right now we have Netflix. Why? Because Netflix understood, you know what, as a tech person, as a visionary, there is a time when caskets are not going to make sense. Okay?
Yeah.
And now we need to understand that, yes, you the boy child who's out there, and probably you are having, say, let's say 50,000, or you don't even have any money. Okay? Let's talk about the person who has no money, is on zero. What do? Everyone has a creative mind. Okay? Everyone can access a thread. You know, for you to be picked up and cited out and told that, you know what, I think you have something special. You need to first of all, first start with something. You're not ever going to propose anyone to give you a job or even any investment if you have no value to show. This is where the boy child and the girl child get lost. And then they keep complaining, the government is bad, the government, what have you done? We have seen young people all the way who have making it throughout this crisis, and even before the pandemic. But why? It's the mindset. It has to change. Now, I won't dwell much on this. I'm just going to give the viewers out there something that I think will help them as a tech advisor or as a tech consultant. I'm going to give you a couple of income generating streams. I'm sure if you go and research about them, because we won't have all the time to digest each of them, I'm sure they will change your life. There is no one sort of way of making money. All right? We have several streams of making money. Number one, we have earned income. The income you earn from working at a job. Meaning the first thing you have to do is to try to get a job. You're not going to break out of this crisis if you're still begging your mama, if you're still begging your mama for bread, for something. They're going to get tired of you because no one knows when this thing is going to end. Absolutely. So you need to think of who you really are and what you really want to become. So first get a job, no matter how much it pays you. First get and earn that first money, that first cash will tell you what to do. Number two, from that income generating scheme, then you're going to look at the number two stream. It's the profit stream. Now after getting your 50K as salary, we are looking at the person who's really hit so hard. They have the baseline and the worst salary you can ever imagine. Yeah, rock bottom salary. 50K is what I've given you as a minimum. What do? With that 50K, you still have to understand that when you get this 50K, you're not going to eat all of it. Okay? We have flour, the flour business, which gives us chapatis, which gives us things like bread, which gives us things like pizza. When you get this flour, how much is flour? 5,000 Ugandan market. Of your 50K, get 5,000. Get your younger brother. If you don't have a younger brother, get a friend. Tell him, you know what? Let's start baking chapatis. Let's start making chapatis. Okay? And these chapatis, you make 5 or 2 of them. Yeah? You're going to get a profit. Now I'm giving you another stream of income. The profit, income stream. You've already earned the income. Okay? Now you're going into profit income.
The third,
Yes.
I would like us to sort of have a comma there. We
Okay.
shall get back to it.
All right.
Now, Amoti, I want you to help the viewers and try as hard as you can to combine culture and gender, and how we can use those two backgrounds to empower ourselves out of this pandemic.
Thank you very much. At the end of the day, I think as we try to rise through the pandemic rebel, it is important that we acquire a set of tools, or we leverage our backyard resources, because these resources have been part of us. I think one of the reasons why the businesses that have been hard hit in Africa have taken such a great impact on our economies is because our economy, the African economy, has been one that leans towards, it has been more of a consumer economy versus an economy that actually produces, which has literally made Africa an economic slave to the rest of the world that have tried their best to make sure that they are, instead of being a consumer economy, they're more of the economy that produces product. Now, it's not, we have a very short period of time before our ship totally sinks to try and come up with intervention tools. And I think my colleagues would agree that we don't need to look very far. Africa, I think we should first understand the heartbeat of Africa, which in Swahili is Mapiga ya Moyo wa Afrika. The heartbeat of Africa is our freedom. Most people would like you to believe that we do not have freedom in Africa, but we've got plenty of freedom in Africa that is unique to us. And sometimes the definition of freedom in New York City or London or Beijing might vary based on the characteristics of that environment, of that community. But in Africa, I would say we have a lot of freedom. So that's one resource that we have in a way that, it's only Africa that brings it to the table. The second resource that I see plenty is faith heritage. We have been a community that believes that there is a greater God, a greater being, and back to even 5 to 1,000 years ago, we had gods, and from that we've evolved into what has become our freedom heritage today. That's also another resource that we have plenty of. I would like to think that the most unique story and resource that we bring to the table is our culture. Africa is got about, I think we have about 54 countries. Each country has 50 stories, between 30 and 50 stories. These are cultures that are unique. Now, from this uniqueness, we are able to develop products that create the kind of experience that we can share with the rest of the world. Most people like to call it tourism. We call it experience. We like to call it experience as cultural agents. And that's what we want to take to market. Make sure that if we are in Moroto or Arua or Gulu, we take a closer look at what is unique about us in that community. We develop product that we can then market as an experience that we can export. Remember, one of the problems that is going to be hard for us to turn the effects of the pandemic around is because we have an economy that some other people control with different agendas. We now need to revisit that and find out a way that, sort of like a win-win way.
Sorry, I have to interject on that one,
Yeah.
because earlier you connoted that people have said time and again that we do not have freedom. Which one of the freedoms that people highlight we don't have is the economic freedom.
Correct.
And now you're saying that our economy is controlled by different people with different agendas.
Correct.
So please, would you relate that for the viewers, how we have freedom and somehow the economic freedom is compromised?
We have freedom in a sense that because as Africans we are communal, and we define our lifestyle, and we have always defined our lifestyle as a community. People people were accountable to the individual lives in the community, and the individual lives and the individual persons were also accountable to the community. So it created a sense of freedom within us that we are free to interact and to set up our own systems, which as we have evolved towards I like to say a different type of economy from the economies that once were, we have kind of been taken over and somewhat redefined. But in my opinion, I think with the new pandemic, it gives us a new start, a new fresh start, to think local and maybe act global.
Okay. Thank you. We shall get back to that, because I would love us to continue with that economic freedom aspect and how we use the pandemic as a blessing in this case to get out from the clutches of Western economic imperialism. But third, I want us to go through now. We have business plans in place. We have concepts like business development coming up. And you noted earlier on that we used to have people that became successful business people might not necessarily going to school. But now we have people going to school doing business courses. We have in that line lecturers that teach. We have developers like you, consultants, that have taken it on as a job to help people pull through certain economic impediments that they find along the way in one way or another. So what do you think, that do we need sophisticated business plans to develop businesses respective to different individuals? Do we need the plans in place? Can businesses run without such things like focusing on the market and the kind of trade that you're involving yourself in? Do you need to first dig deep to find out, or someone can find something that is nearest to them and they get on with that, minus necessarily putting in a lot of thinking?
Okay, so I get the question. The thing is, ideally, I'm not a subscriber personally of business plans. And of course, there's going to be too much backlash for that. But of course, I will tell you why I do not believe in business plans. Because I believe a business plan is one statement. If you cannot sell yourself in one statement, we have seen so many people, they keep on writing proposals. We have seen tons and tons of proposals. We receive them. We receive them all the time. They come to you, they come to your desk, but you don't have time to look at them. Let's be honest. Even when you try to delegate and you say, my secretary or any person, try to look into it, they'll still just dash it into the trash. But why is that? Because ideally, the tradition of us reading through things, I think it's not well received it's not really well received.
Yeah.
So the best I would actually give as a way forward for any individual or for any starter, entrepreneur, or any person who wants to get through this, I think it would be for you to first embrace the ability to be ingenuine, or what we call ingenuity. Look at your surrounding. The best thing I always tell people is, what is missing in your society? There's always something missing. Don't come up with proposals of things that have already happened. Believe in me, when a proposal that comes, or a business idea comes and pops into the eyes or the ears of an investor, and they know it's unique, and they know it has a USP, a unique selling point, okay? Believe you me, they're going to get all in, and they are going to do it the agile way. They're going to develop it face to face, hand on hand. But the first thing is going to be one. Hand on hand is someone is going to get you, and they're going to do it the agile way. Whereby I'm not going to look at your papers, your proposals, or what. What we're going to focus on is basically a picture idea. What do you want to do? You want to do so and so and so a product. Is it viable in the country? That sometimes that's what it all needs. Sometimes that's all you need to get there. Sometimes papers and what you do them, people never get back to you. It's like a job interview. It's like an application. You want to apply for a job. They never get back to you. They say we shall get back to you. Do they come back? They don't come back. And that's the majority of the people that we go through. So I believe that first of all, before you actually submit your proposal, first ask yourself, check around with your friends. Do they make sense of what you're saying? If your friends laugh at you, believe you, there are high chances the investor is going to laugh at you. So also family, go to your father, go to your mother. If you don't have parents, go to your relatives. Ask them, because we are going organic. This is traditional, going back to our setting. You're not going to go for angel investors. We don't have them here. Even if they're there, we don't know them. So what you're going to do is to go back down there, ask mom or dad, Mom, I want to come up with something. If they laugh at you, then you understand that, I think I'm silly.
When it comes down to consulting parents and friends, it's possible that friends are going to be very supportive and they cheer you on.
Absolutely.
And then it's possible that the parents are going to be afraid that you're going to take on a risk so big that it's going to destroy you.
Yes.
Would someone rather go to those two groups of people? Would they rather come to someone like Sad, who is a consultant,
Yes.
for a better view than he did?
Yeah, I think it's all about empowerment. I think the only thing I would love to tell the young people, even the adults, is that do not ever stop research. Because I never got here by sitting in my bed and coming up with some draft of a proposal, and then I got to go where I am. No, I realized that, I need to break the gap, and I need to walk out and get my feet wet. How do you get your feet wet? Attack anyone who you see. When you see people are laughing at your idea, believe you me, the high chances it won't work. Okay? But if you see you're bumping into people, we all meet people. At school we have friends, back home we have neighbors. Go to them, never be afraid. If you want to be a person who breaks the ice or breaks the cycle, first have the confidence and have the tenacity. Don't you ever be let down by a no. People are always going to say no. And some people will know that you're doing something great, especially the family people, and they won't want you to get there.
So
that's also a point.
How does one tell the genuine no of we actually don't believe genuinely that you're going to succeed at it?
Yeah.
Or the non-genuine one, the mischievous one?
Okay, now that gets to statistics. Let's say I'm going to go out to 10 people. Now those are your statistics. You're hitting 10 people. Look at the ones who weigh more. Where are the no's? Are the no's the lesser side or the 40%? Or are the yeses the 60%? If the yeses are the 60%, you're going to go for this.
All right.
If it's a cut across, you need to think of something else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sad. Thank you, viewers, for keeping us company. We really appreciate that. We are looking at Africa and the new normal now. African and the global is really a general term. But in particular, we want to look at Uganda. You that is in Munyonyo, you that is in Ruhama, you that is in Karamoja somewhere. How do you get yourself out of something that you have been put in by a crisis that no one foresaw? And we are going for a quick break. We shall see you right after, and we shall get on with the motor. Thank you. thank you for viewing Muslim Channel Uganda. Please go to Facebook, you search for Muslim Channel Uganda, you like the page, and you comment in case you have a question, in case you have a compliment, a supplement, and you share the page with your friends, and you tell them to share with their friends, like that. We want to have programs in place that give back to our community the things that the places that we are at right now. Those that were in school have been home for a very long time. I've never seen a holiday of 6 months, but here we are. So we want to look at how we get out of here. I'm very sure that very many of us have picked lessons, and many of which have had to look at how to earn something, even if it's little, but something that takes you through a period that can just hit you right on without expecting it. And we were looking at freedom and gender and culture, and Africa being culture. And how about you use what you already gave us to tackle the concept of youths and youthhood? How does culture and African diversity, how does it have something to do with the youths today that are struggling with the transition from the old ways to relating with the Western civilization?
Thank you very much. It is actually much easier when you think about intervention to think about, again, pursuing that low-hanging fruit. I'd like to kind of quickly go through what we believe are the tools that are available to us, and they're available to everybody. We kind of think that every African can be a cultural agent. They just have to believe that they can leverage our freedom, our faith heritage, our culture, our gender, our youth, our elder reciprocity, and our peace.
Speaking of which, what is elder reciprocity?
Elder reciprocity is, Africans believe, they've always believed that when we are young, we have the strength to build our communities so that when we are of age, we can be protected by the fruits of our labor during our youth. I think I remember a story about a baby eagle and a father eagle flying through the mountains of Rwenzori. And the baby eagle was, flying really fast and getting ahead of the father eagle. And as they moved on ahead, the baby eagle told the father eagle, "But Papa, you slow. Why can't you move fast?" And the father eagle responded that, son, during my youth, I didn't know any of these mountains, but I had my strength. In the age, I know all these mountains more than you, but my weary wings can sometimes slow me down. So elder reciprocity is working and building and affording respect to our elders when their weary wings can't follow their vision anymore.
All right.
We take care of our youth, and when they grow up, they take care of us.
All right.
That's pretty common throughout Africa. In addition to elder reciprocity, we also talk about the peace. Again, peace is supposed to be defined with African characteristics. Some people might think peace in a different setting, in a different environment with greater resources is supposed to define peace in a setting where there are less resources. So, but the African peace is backed by the vast resources. So I like to say that if we can again just simply leverage our freedom, our faith heritage, our culture, our youth, our gender, and our elder reciprocity. I think in this post-COVID business environment, we stand a chance. I think a lot of these businesses, again, need to price in as they try and get out of this, as they try and get out of this pandemic, to adapt, to the new normal. There's several, and I think that I want to back up a little bit and shed a little bit more light to why faith heritage is important. Faith heritage is important in as much as the fact that now we are on a Muslim channel, trying to reach out to the greater audience, not just the Muslims, or we're reaching out to all Africans and all Ugandans through the Muslim channel. Now we are leveraging our faith heritage to find a way to champion post-COVID business innovation. So this, it's all about applying these resources to get our people and our communities comfortable and think in terms of the African context versus what is so far away and so far-fetched and not within our reach when we have a lot of resources here locally. And also we need to learn to define progress in the African context. Yeah, so I think what businesses might need is, and they have to be appreciative to the Muslim channel for making sure that the audience is aware that there are resources and there are backyard resources that we can leverage as tools of intervention in this post-COVID intervention. I would like to say also that at the end of the day, a team of risk managers, realtors, or real estate consultants, and debt and equity consultants. There's also mergers and acquisitions. At the end of the day, when businesses are struggling on the business development side, it could be because they're undercapitalized, but they have all the other resources. So we like to think that this is one of the environments that we are in, that going it alone, which is very prevalent in emerging markets, may not be the only way. So reaching out, I think when you watch Wall Street, you always hear mergers and acquisitions. When a company realizes that it has less resources in this part of their business and more resources in the other part, that they find a partner that has the resources that they do not have, and join forces to make sure that a combined set of resources can be leveraged to take them to the next level. So if your business is struggling, think about merging or acquiring a company, or finding a friend that knows more than you do about something that is a major ingredient of your business, and teaming up with that, and forming that team ball experience.
Okay. Thank you, Amot. Sorry, I have to interject. We really have not much time. Now, sad and unfortunately, we have come to a segment where we have to speak conclusively. But briefly, I want you to take our viewers, because Uganda has the second youngest population in Africa. It comes at 54.2 after Niger. And of course, several people have interest in the IT business. Now, very briefly, as you point just out the pointer, do the youths need much capital to take part in the IT world? What is required to start up an IT business? If you can take them through that as you conclude, please.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question. I think I will address it by saying will they actually take on tech products or tech innovations, even with the least of capital? It's very right. One of the things that has killed actually these young innovators is simply because they think they need to have money fast.
Yeah.
No, you don't need to have money fast. You need to first have your structure available. Let me tell you something, Ajwa. Even if you have no money, a sound project is something that is going to be attached value to.
Yeah.
When someone listens to what you're saying and you try to visualize it, even on a sketchy paper, any investor will understand that this boy, this girl, has something. You have no money to sketch a paper. It's just ink and paper. Something you can actually, something you can actually steal from someone.
What of those that don't have the access to such investors?
To such investors,
Yes.
like I've always said, we need to be practical in this. There's no way you can talk of business. It goes back to what I was starting with. Your income generating streams. You go back to the grassroots. You cannot do anything if you have no income in the 21st century. That is just simply it.
Okay, sad.
It doesn't matter how much you earn, Ajwa. I don't care if it's 50,000. People will respect your 50,000 as long as you have the brains.
Okay.
You come out and structure your plan in a sketch. Believe you me, one person, even if he's not a billionaire or a millionaire, will pick you up and take you to that millionaire and say, I have seen something in you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, with your very business mind, in 40 seconds, what are those very vital points you would love to leave with the listeners?
The vital points, I would say, I think there are a couple of them. I'm not going to say the 3 or 2 or 4. I think I'll just say number 1, if you haven't been saving, please save. And the best way to save is if you follow the 50-30-20 rule of saving, whereby you save on 100%. I don't care if you earn 50K or 100K or 500K, it doesn't really make any big difference. As long as you earn an income from any job you work at, what you need to understand is if you get 50K, you need to break it down to 50% of it is that's 25K. Then you have to get 30% of that 50K. Then put it into some investment, start up a chapati store. That money can be there, it can be made of use. 10,000 can start chapati production. Then get to save 5,000 and we see how you want to make it.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you. He's sad, Mato. I've seen he's much of a communist. He leans to Russian and Serbian. He's Tovich, I'm saying.
Yeah.
But he's a tech developer. It's been very nice having you around. Please, you always come around. I think our community would benefit from watching and listening to you. Now to our culture-based agent, unfortunately we are coming to the end of the show, but you have plenty of ideas and you try as much as you can to circle back to Africa and African diversity. Now, in a minute, what is it you want Africans that have been watching this show to know in the sense of their Africanity, but then in the business sense?
First of all, I'd like to say that this is a very short period of time to try and explain a lot of things. But one thing that whether you're a Muslim or Christian or Hare Krishnan or Buddhist, feel free to call the Muslim channel and learn more about how you can be linked up to means and ways you can leverage culture, gender, faith heritage, youth, and peace-based products. There's something about the Uganda economy and the African economy. And at the moment, I think everybody practices capitalism as a way of survival.
Yeah.
The word capitalism comes from the word capitalize, take advantage of, or leverage.
Yeah.
I would say I encourage especially the youth. Youth and our agenda can leverage culture-based products like music, arts, crafts, clothing, and souvenirs, amongst other things, to develop a local market, where you are protected from tourists being cut off, and then you no longer have a market. And again, if you want to learn more about how can you leverage culture, youth resources, contact the Muslim channel in Uganda, and they will guide you how you can take advantage of some of the ideas that have been presented here by my colleagues. And I think that's the best way I can address a way forward in such a short period of time.
All right.
The key word is capitalize.
You take advantage of. Thank you. Now, you go to Facebook and you search Muslim Channel Uganda. You share with your friends and tell them to share with their friends. You go to YouTube and you subscribe to our channel. Now, we always have a take-home something at the end of our shows. And just like we said when this show was beginning, COVID was something new. Not that it's something we had not heard of. We had heard of SARS in 2003 and all. But the lockdown and the lockup on the incomes and investments of people. Now that was something. We need to get ourselves out of it. Normally, our political friends note that the one thing that President Museveni has done is create an environment so stable that if you had an idea and you had something very small to fund the idea, you can access opportunities to push yourself forward. It can be selling something like greens. It can be agriculture in itself, just something small. It can be raising chicken, goats, some go as far as buying cows and all. It can be real estate. Very many things. Sad and I were talking briefly about financial markets. We are going to be going through all these things with time. The show is going to be happening every Monday. We are looking at Africa and the new normal, how to get ourselves out of the ditch that has been dug by the COVID-19 crisis. And we really appreciate your company. Thank you for keeping us company. We shall be looking at how to develop each other by you viewing us and us extending the knowledge that we have. Thank you for being with us today. I very much appreciate that. We've been having Sadma in studios. He's a tech developer. And we've been having Jaga Mort. He's a culture-based agent. Thank you so much for your time. Have a nice day.
In this generation and on, early digital literacy will have a huge impact on self-development and strategic intelligence. .NET Hub is cracking the future's code. Kids Who Code is a youth-based circuit program at .NET Hub. This is an initiative to help the kids begin their engineering journey, guiding them and activating their intuition abilities. Learning how to assemble robot systems, and learning how to communicate with these machines. Learning coding is the only way to stay competitive in this emerging technology growth and global technology market. The future doesn't just happen. Future gets happened. Embrace technology. Have your child enrolled this holiday. The future is in technology and brighter future lies in transcending it. Let's live and lead. Join the Hub community today for AI, machine learning, smart technologies and software development. Visit .NET Hub today at Car Boomer Stage, Sir Lumamunua Neo Road. Contact the Hub on 0200-904-050 or at www.dotnetug.com.